So I don't normally do build videos, but people have been asking, and my builds are sort of niche and different from what most people run, so why not? This is my missiles build for Lancer. Let's go with the weapons real quick first of all. So you got a basic pump shotgun. Each individual pellet counts as a hit, essentially, with these, so you get more damage. Most people know the pump shotgun's great in AFE. Attachments I like, and this is personal preference. There's different ways to build this, but precision break for weak point damage, effective range, so a bit more damage to heads and stuff, and a bit farther range from where I'm shooting from, to keep them away from me. Fire rate for obvious reasons, and magazine capacity bumps you up to the full 10-round magazine, which personally I like. I like having that just a double-digit number as opposed to just a 9-round magazine. And then hybrid sight for more weak point damage for heads, and accuracy, which tightens the spread of shotguns, which is one of the best stat changes you can have on a shotgun in AFE. Then you got the RPG. I'm actually going to go over this real quick. So the RPG is a bit of a one-hit wonder weapon. It shoots one round and reloads. It's pretty straightforward. It does lots of damage up close. To the blast radius, the impact point, does 2920 damage. Runner health on Insane is 2709. So just by default, this will kill runners one shot on Insane. And any additional damage you stack on there is going to just increase the area of effect of that one shot ability from where it is currently to a larger radius, essentially. So always good. So the attachments I like running on it, well, actually, for the 4-star perk here, so you got a 25% chance on hit to deal an initial 75% thermal damage over time. This is irrelevant. Sometimes it looks kind of neat, but, like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Anyway, attachments. So I like expanded reserves with the RPG. And the reason for that, so it gives you more max ammo, which is always good. You don't want to run out with this when you're using it. But you can, because especially if you've got a good weapon like the Lancer does as a secondary, like a CQW, like a shotgun. But with expanded reserves, you get more max ammo for the RPG, and then each hit you do with the RPG gives you additional reload speed, and that can stack 5 times, plus 7% weak reload speed, stacked 5 times. What's that? I'd have to do math, and I don't feel like it. I think it's like 30% reload speed or something. But you're hitting multiple targets at once, typically, with this, so you're usually going to get faster reload constantly. And if you smack a large bunch of stuff, you're going to get pretty significant reload speed very quickly. And so that single shot ability is going to not be like this speed, it's going to be like double or triple this almost. Like, not that fast, but it's going to be very fast. So that's very useful, especially when you're getting a lot of pressure and you're getting lots of kills, and your RPG will start picking up the speed faster there. Reload speed rather than fire rate is what gives the RPG launcher a faster fire rate, because it reloads between every shot. It's like the pike that way. I like that more than the autoloader, because I like the RPG having a consistent tempo to it, I guess, because it's such a dangerous weapon, because you want to avoid friendly fire with it, and you want to put shots where you want them. That sort of chance to auto-load the magazine, get an extra round out of it, is not that great. I like. You'd probably rather have. You'd probably rather have just, you can see it on screen, you're reloading, you're ready to shoot again, you can go. You don't have this sudden, oh, I've got a full magazine, I gotta shoot a second shot right away. It's inconsistent. Alignment module, fire rate doesn't really do anything with the RPG, stability doesn't matter. Augmented speed loader, yes, you've got reload speed, but expanded reserves gives you that too, so, like, why bother? You'd lose all that plus 40% max ammo. Combat actuator, fire rate doesn't matter. Neither is, well, handling's okay, but stability doesn't matter either. Flared breach, fire rate doesn't matter, max ammo. You're getting more max ammo from expanded reserves, so there's no reason. Flywheel chamber, a little bit of extra damage on hit for 3 seconds. This isn't going to matter for the RPG, you know, like 2% damage, so that's like 20, 30 damage, something like that for 3 seconds and stacks 5 times, so you get like, I don't know, 100, 200, probably less damage for a shot. Like, if stuff's still alive after that, you want to be using a different weapon usually. It's too close. Launch accelerator, fire doesn't matter. Stumble chance, your stumble chance for an explosion like the RPG thing there is already at 100%, so no need to buff that really. Like, that actually going over 100% with stumble chance does help, because the way it works in AFE is you've got enemies have resistance to stumble, and if you have more than 100% stumble chance, that sort of eats into their resistance and makes them harder for them to resist that stumbling. So there's reasons to actually do higher than 100% for some of these, but in the RPG's case, this is not a good attachment. Phosphorus munitions, that's okay if you want the flames. I usually find, despite liking extra flames, I don't really find it sort of suits the RPG, so I don't bother. Rapid dispersal unit, yes, excellent more reload speed, but again, expanded reserves gives you that to a decent amount, and you've also got lots more ammo. So this expanded reserves is the clear winner for me with the RPG. Then we've got progressive rifling, which gives you a bit of fire rate, which does not matter in the slightest. Stability also does not matter, but you get 10% extra damage to enemies with full health. So what that does is, if someone hasn't shot an enemy yet, like they're just coming into view or they're busy with closer up stuff or something, and you drop a rocket on it, that 29-20 damage there is going to get a 10% buff right off the bat. So that's what, almost 300 damage. So that's expanding your one-hit runner one-hit killing area of a radius impact to be a larger blast, essentially. So that's always good. Other possible barrels, stability, damage against armor targets. Damage against armor targets is sort of a terrible stat in AFE. Armor doesn't go well in the game. Most enemies don't have it. The ones that do are synths typically or elites, and neither are really good fits for the RPG because they'll tank it. So, not really a good attachment. And there's other quirks with how armor works in AFE that make it not good. I'm not going to go into it. Stumble chance, great. Less damage from enemies for 5 seconds. I wouldn't do that. They're not going to be in range in those 5 seconds, or you probably shouldn't be shooting the RPG. And honestly, stuff that reduces enemy damage to you is usually pretty bad. Fire rate stability doesn't matter. Handling, whatever. It's sort of useful, but not really that great. Fire rate's whatever. Another twists. Yeah, slowing stuff down a bit for 10 seconds and being able to stack that's nothing to sneeze at, but with the RPG, you're more wanting to just kill things outright with it. So repeatedly shooting to get more stacks of the slow is not really what you want to be doing with it. So don't really think too highly of that one. For the RPG anyway. Polygonal rifling, fire rate doesn't matter. 50% chance on hit. Enemies take additional 10% damage for 5 seconds. Effect can only occur at the same target once every 15 seconds. So, yes, you can pop a rocket off at something, and anything that survives the initial blast has a 50% chance to take more damage. 10% more damage for 5 seconds, so follow-up shots will be easier. However, if you just tagged a bunch of runners and some survived from an RPG explosion, they're going to be low health. They're already dying on the second shot anyway, so does not help you with runners. Specials, it may or may not. Probably not, really. They'll probably tank more than 2 hits. Elites, same deal, and it's going to be just a one and done for 15 seconds there, so not really a good fit for the RPG either. Ratchet rifling, fire rate, whatever. Handling, okay, but whatever. Reinforced barrel, melee damage is a terrible idea. You should not have the RPG out in melee range. this is all sorts of terrible. Smoothbore deals 25% more damage to enemies that are at or below 20% health. If they're below 20% health and you tag them with an RPG, they're gonna die. And the extra 20% damage for like elites that have lots of health isn't gonna matter. So like, again, clearly you want to be using progressive rifling for the RPG. So those are basically just two no-brainer attachments. Onto the armatures. So what I'm normally using there is max ammo. That's just more ammo, and then damage resistance and a bit of extra stability while standing still. Damage resistance, not really a good stat, but it's there. And quite often in the RPG, I am standing still, especially with Lancer. I'll go into that in a minute, but so like this is probably going to be active, which may reduce the ability to friendly fire myself accidentally. Which is a risk, but it may help, may not. Stability doesn't really matter. Options here. Stability, whatever. Melee damage, again, you don't want to be meleeing with the RPG out. It's kind of crazy. Deep Rail Armature. Reload speed's great. Max ammo's good. I get a bit more max ammo out of Bracing Armature, and I find that Expanded Reserves gives me enough reload speed that I don't need to bother. So, generally I prefer Bracing Armature over Deep Railed for the RPG. Got Executioner Harness. Handling, great. Oh god, melee damage again. Yeah, don't do melee attachments to the RPG. It just don't. Hybrid Armature doesn't really get you anything useful there. Yeah. Medic Enhancement Harness, max ammo's great. Again, melee damage though. So like, Bracing Armature versus the Kinetic Enhancement. I lose 10% max ammo, and like my max ammo is at 56 there, so that's what, like 5 rounds or something. Not a huge deal. The melee damage buff obviously is stupid, and I just lose out on the damage resistance potential. It's like, it's not a bad option. So those three so far are decent, despite the melee being irrelevant. Max capacity, extra ammo, handling. Handling translates to weapon switch speed and a little bit for reloading, especially with single-shot weapons like that. So it's not a terrible option either. Quick charge, armature, reload speed. Yeah, this is just reload speed. Nothing else matters here. So, servo-assisted armature, movement speed. Fire rate is irrelevant. Handling is mostly irrelevant. Reload speed, you don't want reload speed with RPG, or not movement speed. I mean, you don't want extra movement speed with the RPG because you're probably not going to be running around with it. And stabling armature, you got reload speed and stability. So there are a few options in here in the armatures, but for the other two attachments, those are just very obvious ones to use, and then you can play around with the armatures. On to the perks. So with the RPG, the way I tend to like using the RPG is I'm going to be shooting at groups of runners farther away and just one-shotting groups of them. And as they get close, sort of about that distance, depending on how confident I am, maybe a little closer, but generally about that distance, I'm going to stop shooting the RPG, and out comes the shotgun instead. And I use that just like any other shotgun. Elites as well, like, okay, you can soften them up a bit with an RPG shot or two, so if you aim for heads and manage to hit it. But with elites, again, just stop shooting the RPG once they get close. It's suicide, because they will just tank it, come in and get in your face, and you will kill yourself. And your teammates, probably. So, the elite comes in, or whatever, you're just like, hey, stay away, RPG, etc. Out comes the shotgun, and you just keep pounding the head or whatever with it, and then pop your overclock and keep going. And you do this for groups of specials too, like you get a burster wave or a prowler wave or something, and you just keep going. You've got a lot of uptime there. but the perks anyway. So what I like doing there is with the particle wave, as things get close there, if it's an elite, that's going to pop it off in its face there. And that gives me a chance to switch to the shotgun. It stuns the enemy there, usually an elite. And by stunning it, that also procs into down and out, which gives me more damage with the shotgun. Yeah, damage resistance as well for me. It's useful, I guess. Usually, if you're being swarmed, maybe it'll help you avoid taking a bit of damage that you otherwise would. But you stun them, whip out the shotgun, and you got down and out for extra damage. So you do that. Jackpot I use exclusively. This isn't meant for the RPG at all. Like if it procs off on the RPG, great. But that's for the shotgun, and it's for specials, wave specials. If I'm not using Onslaught, if I kill a burster, I'm going to get a full mag right back. If I kill a prowler, I'm getting a full mag right back. If there's 2 or 3 bursters, or 4 or 5 or whatever, I'm getting a full mag back each time one dies, so I can just keep going. And that's a useful, important thing. Down and out's obvious, and that's shotgun material and after particle wave, or if they're otherwise stunned. That can actually work out with the RPG. It synergizes pretty well with the Phalanx's, what's it called? Shock Ordnance. So that shoots out a AoE blast or whatever, and has some other perks that'll stun and so on at range. So if stuff's stunned and slowed at a distance, you can drop RPGs on it and get more damage. But at a distance. But this is mostly for shotguns. Anyway, so CQW training for technician, CQW training, that's reload speed and accuracy for CQWs for the shotgun. Phalanx CQW expertise, that's accuracy and magazine capacity. Again, that's tightening the spread and getting me that 10 round magazine that I like. And fire rate and accuracy, and tightening the spread, and shooting a bit faster. So the heavy weapons trainings I've got is Demolisher heavy training, and that's max ammo, which is always useful, and reload speed for the RPG. So both those fit well with the RPG. Demolisher heavy expertise, radius of heavy weapons being increased 15%, and damage of heavy weapons being increased. Radius is obvious, the bigger booms. Damage as well, like I mentioned, the more damage you get out of the RPG, the greater the deadly area in there. This perk is bugged, and the damage that it says damage increased by 10%. It's not going to be 10% probably. You'd have to individually test, and it's hard with stuff with AoE effects and stuff because you'll get a gradient depending on how far they are from the blast radius. So it's hard to work out exactly what damage it's doing. But it's typically not going to be 10%. It'll be less probably. But it's still something. Then Lancer heavy expertise, that's going to be fire rate, which doesn't matter, and reload speed on the RPG is basically fire rate, so useful. Then I've got Omniscience, and that's going to give me 6 stacks of Overwatch when it gets full. And it'll decrease the amount of loss of Overwatch as I move around. And with the RPG, I'm usually standing still. This makes teammates less nervous about it, and you're less likely to accidentally shoot yourself or teammate or miss entirely. So quite often you want to be standing still while you're using the RPG. And that builds your stacks of Overwatch, which can go up to 6 stacks now, which gives you 18% extra damage. So that's going to make that radius that you're shooting and one-shotting runners even bigger, even more effective. Tenacious, that's going to be a shotgun thing again when I'm popping off Onslaught, and there's a bunch of specials or an elite up close. It's going to last longer, and it's going to reduce the amount of damage loss from using Onslaught with the weapon it causes. So like Onslaught by default, I'm sorry, I'm misremembering here. It increases your weapon damage and damage resistance. So fair enough. It slows down how fast you shoot, but increases the damage you do. So this further increases the damage you do while you're in Onslaught and makes Onslaught last longer. So basically, when I'm popping Onslaught as this Lancer build, stuff's gonna die, or I'm gonna die, and it'll probably be done when Onslaught's over with, or very quickly thereafter. If it isn't, there's something wrong. If it's not even dead before then. Bedside Manor increases bleed out times. You can sort of have time to deal with stuff and clear trash and get a bit of time to go after pick someone up. And obviously, you're picking them up faster. Accidents happen with the RPG, so that's one reason for it. The other, of course, is that Lancer doesn't have a lot of get away from the downed person so I can pick them up abilities. Like Particle Wave is a good one for that. But beyond that, they can sort of lay there and bleed for a bit, and you can sort of deal with stuff around them with the RPG, because you can't kill friendlies more dead. So while they're down, just feel free to rocket them and just clear stuff from around them. Just avoid living teammates. And yourself, obviously. And yeah, that's the build I use for the RPG quite often. I think that's a better fit than using the RPG with the demo. And the reason I say that is because, again, like, you want to sort of stand still with the RPG because it's easy to screw up. Overwatch encourages standing still. That's why I don't have, like, rapid assessment on here. I don't need it because I'm standing still and I'm building stacks of this anyway. With the Demolisher, let's go with this blank one here. With Clear the Room, you get a higher potential with stacks of that for extra damage than you do with the Lancer's Overwatch, but you also need to fire off micro rockets to cause that Clear the Room, or Blast Wave. And Blast Wave, I guess if you had a really big radius, that might be an idea with the RPG. You could maybe try and explore that. I think it would be awkward, though. With Precision Rocket, or I keep saying Precision Rockets, it is so common nowadays. With Micro Rockets, and Precision Rockets, and Napalm Rockets, and Gust Rockets, all the rockets, they all fire in like an arc. Like, so you can see that, and then if you try and hit the same point with the RPG, you're going to have to adjust your aim slightly. Let me see if I can demonstrate exactly. Where's the RPG? There it is. So, shooting something far away with the RPG as a demo. Okay, there goes your rocket, and I'm aiming like several feet above that, right? So if I hit something with the rockets, I'm going to have to use my Clear the Room stacks effectively, adjust my aim, and shoot the same spot. Because if I kept my aim on the same spot and shot, I'd shoot past where my micro rockets went. So, like, it's not really a good choice for the RPG, because to get Clear the Room stacks, you're dropping rockets in one place and then shooting in another. Which requires you to adjust your aim, higher chance to be screwing up, and generally is risky. Versus Lancer, and you can just drop a rocket and stand there, and you're still getting the damage. And you're already doing enough damage to clear runners. If you do get a really swarm stuff, while I generally use Onslaught for shotguns and stuff, you can always whip it out for the RPG. And then you skip reloading too. So that's where fire rate comes in. And if you got a gunner using overclock, this gets disgusting. Very fast. Anyway, that is my RPG Lancer build. Hope you enjoy. I'd like to see it around. And yeah, I'll link a few videos of myself running this build as well at the end of the video here.